Carolina Liquidator reporting from not in the studio, but the Cleveland Browns got the job done today. Shedeur Sanders marched down the field in the final couple seconds of the game, walked away from this game with a field goal win, signature win. It's the awesome way to close out the season. Now it's time to get prepared for the 2026 football season. Will Shedeur Sanders be the starter? That's the next chapter, but he's up on the podium right now talking to the media. Let's roll the footage.
That's what it was. Then we got to end at halftime. We got in the locker room and like close teammates, close friends was like, nah, bro, get back to being you. So it was that words of encouragement. It was that shoulder to lean on that you need in them crucial moments. So then, as you see, right back after halftime, then we started getting our rhythm. We started being nice. So I think today overall mentally we won different battles. I think we won mentally. I think going back to the final minute drives that we had a couple weeks ago, and it wasn't successful. We was able to get that opportunity and be able to drive down the field and do what we did. Andre being able to get back in that position how he was, I knew the whole time he was going to be able to make it. So I think it was a bunch of different battles, overall that we won today, and it started up here, started mentally.
The clock is ticking down. The pressure is suffocating. Shedeur Sanders stands in the pocket, his entire rookie season hanging in the balance. One final drive.
I know you knew how much Miles Garrett wanted to get that record in a victory.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to just wanting to win it for the whole entire team, did you also, how important was it for you to, on his big day and his big moment, go down there and do everything you could to get him that victory?
Yeah, I think all of our goals and everything is aligned, so I don't think it's a much more want to than that. I think the want to is to prove that I'm able to drive down the field, and that a bad half, doesn't define a character like kind of how it was the other week. We had the same opportunity, so I think each week by week it was building different things and accomplishing different things, and being able to prove to myself, but not just myself, but this team and everybody, that in certain situations I learn from, I grow from, and I was just excited to be put in that situation again.
One last chance to prove he belongs. And as that field goal splits the uprights, sealing a comeback victory against the Bengals, nobody in that stadium knows the real battle Shedeur just won, because what he revealed in the post-game press conference wasn't just about football. It was about something much deeper, much darker, and far more real than any defensive scheme he faced.
What did you see on those couple of, on that last drive? What did you see on those couple of big throws? Whatever, outer comeback to Isaiah and then.
Yeah, I think it was just clicking. I think it was just clicking. I think we got back. I think we got back a lot to what we been doing, honestly, and I think being able to go through the keys and reads, like those are the stuff that I know like the back of my hand. So that's where reps, and that's where all that different type of stuff come into play, to where you're able to execute each and every play.
That day, the Cleveland Browns just closed out their season with a signature win, a heart-stopping field goal victory that came down to the final seconds. But the real story isn't on the stat sheet. It's in Shedeur Sanders' eyes as he sits at that podium, exhausted, vulnerable, and brutally honest about the war he's been fighting all season long. A war that has nothing to do with blitzes, coverages, or fourth-quarter pressure. We're talking about spiritual warfare, mental demons, and the kind of darkness that can swallow a rookie quarterback whole if he doesn't have the right people around him. This is the untold story of Shedeur Sanders' rookie season finale, the moment everything clicked, the moment he almost lost himself, and the moment his teammates literally pulled him back from the edge. Let's rewind to the first half. If you were watching this game, you saw something that Browns fans hadn't seen much this season. You saw Shedeur Sanders looking lost, uncomfortable, out of rhythm. His reads were slow. His timing was off. Passes that normally hit receivers in stride were falling incomplete or arriving late. The offensive flow that had defined his college career at Colorado was nowhere to be found. It was like watching a completely different quarterback, and the whispers started immediately. Is the pressure getting to him? Is this what happens when the stakes are highest? Did the moment become too big? But here's what nobody watching at home could see. Here's what the cameras couldn't capture. Shedeur Sanders wasn't just struggling with the Bengals' defense. He was battling something far more sinister. In his own words, delivered with a raw honesty that stunned the media room, he admitted he was dealing with spiritual warfare, not metaphorically, not as a figure of
no matter what defense, they're able to put out there. So I think we got back to being who we are, and not really going at them like a certain way, which that was good, but sometimes it just didn't fit my eye, and I wasn't able to get through my reads quick enough or play like really fast and on time.
Shedeur, you said you were dealing with some spiritual battles.
Yeah. I mean, I'm able to recognize it, but it's all in the mental. I think the devil, of course, is going to attack you different ways, people around you and everything. And honestly, like this whole year, it's been a long year. It been ups, downs. It been, different feelings. So, like you gotta be able to, at some point in time, talk to people. Sometimes you gotta lean on people also. So that's what them. My guys in there was able to really like come to life. That's whenever they talk to me, nah, bro, this ain't you right now. You know what I'm saying?
speech. He literally said, I think the devil, of course, is going to attack you different ways, people around you and everything. Let that sink in for a moment. This is a rookie quarterback, minutes after a crucial victory, standing in front of cameras and reporters, and instead of giving the usual canned responses about executing the game plan and trusting his preparation, he's talking about demonic attacks, about spiritual battles, about forces trying to pull him down into darkness. This isn't your typical post-game presser, and that's exactly why what happened next matters so much. The halftime locker room became the turning point. While coaches were making adjustments and drawing up new plays, something more important was happening in the corners of that room. Shedeur's closest teammates, the guys who know him beyond the jersey and the stats, pulled him aside, and they didn't mince words. Nah, bro, get back to being you. Simple words, direct, no sugar coating. Just brothers telling their quarterback to snap out of it and remember who he is. Those words hit different when you're drowning. Those words become a lifeline when you're losing yourself in the noise, the pressure, the doubt, and the spiritual attacks that come from every direction. Shedeur described it as that shoulder to lean on that you need in them crucial moments. And whatever was said in that locker room, whatever energy was transferred, whatever life was spoken into him, it worked. The second half was a completely different game. The rhythm returned, the reads sharpened, the timing clicked. Shedeur Sanders looked like himself again, making throws with confidence, moving through progressions with clarity, and most importantly, playing free. The mental chains that had him bound in the first half were broken, and you could see it in every snap. This wasn't just about better play calling or defensive adjustments. This was about a quarterback who found himself again because his teammates...
Like, that's the type of stuff, like, that gets you going. That's the type of positivity and stuff that you need around, that you need people to let you know who you are. You feel me? So continue being that guy. So I think a lot of it was that today and this whole week, and I didn't feel like I wasn't surprised if I didn't come out off rip playing a clean game. But the main battle and the main thing that the challenge was for me today is what's going to happen whenever you face adversity. Whenever you're not seeing there, whenever you're not seeing it is good. Whenever you're a little bit slow on things, like what are you going to do? And I think that was the lesson today, was to be able to overcome it. And I feel like that last drive and all that is definitely happened.
Refused to let him stay lost. Then came the final drive, the moment that will define this game, the moment that could define Shedeur's entire rookie season. With the clock winding down and the season hanging in the balance, the Browns needed to march down the field and get into field goal range. No timeouts, no room for error, just execution under the most intense pressure a rookie can face. And here's where the story gets even more powerful, because this wasn't Shedeur's first time in this exact situation. Just weeks earlier, the Browns had a similar opportunity. Final minute drive, chance to win the game, and it failed. That failure had been eating at Shedeur ever since. He admitted as much in the press conference, saying the want wasn't just about winning for the team. It was about proving something to himself, proving that a bad half doesn't define his character. Proving that failure isn't final, proving that when given a second chance in the exact same scenario, he could rise to the occasion. I was just excited to be put in that situation again, Shedeur said, his voice carrying the weight of someone who understands that growth comes through adversity, that I kind of put myself in that situation. That self-awareness, that ownership, that hunger for redemption, it all came together on that final drive. The throws to Isaiah were surgical. The comeback routes were perfectly timed. The progression reads were textbook. Everything that had been clicking in practice all season, Everything that had been there in his muscle memory from thousands of reps, it all came flooding back. We got back to being who we are, Shedeur explained. Not really going at them a certain way, which was good, but sometime it just didn't fit my eye, and I wasn't able to get through my reads quick enough or play really fast and on time. That level of self-diagnosis, that ability to articulate exactly what was wrong and exactly what needed to be fixed, that's not typical for a rookie. That's the mark of someone who's been studying himself as intensely as he's been studying defenses, and it paid off when it mattered most. As the Browns moved into field goal range, the weight shifted to Andre Carley's, and here's where another redemption story intersects with Shedeur's. Carley's had struggled earlier in the season. Missed kicks that should have been automatic, pressure moments where his leg failed him, the kind of struggles that can destroy a kicker's confidence and end careers. But Shedeur never doubted him, not for a second. No doubt in my mind that he was going to make that field goal, Shedeur said with absolute conviction. I knew 10 out of 10 he was going to make it, because of his trials and everything he went through at the beginning of the year. That trust, that belief, that brotherhood, it's what transformed a team going through a difficult season into a family that refuses to let each other fail. When Carley's drilled that kick through the upright,
A lot of speculation about Kevin's future. How nice is it to finish the season with the win for him?
I think just Coach Kev, he been real tough. He been tough, and it's good. I think I grew and I learned a lot from him. I think this week we had a conversation just about things, just about things in general, and I feel like we grew to understand each other. We share different things, that we both will go through, So I know he wanted this win, and I know he wants every win, but I know this one means a lot. And I don't know. I wish we all, like as a team, and I wish everybody could have got more personal, within this last year. Quinshon even came over my house a couple of days ago, and like I say, in that dark time, he came over my house. And just talking like, bro, like speaking life into me, and that's what I needed. And I'm truly thankful for him, and his presence definitely is missed.
it wasn't just 3 points. It was validation. It was redemption. It was two guys who had faced their demons and won. The locker room celebration that followed was described by reporters as unusual, even chaotic, water bottles flying. Grown men screaming and hugging like they'd just won a championship. For a team that won't make the playoffs, for a victory that doesn't change their overall record, why so much emotion? Because they all knew what this win represented. It represented trust. It represented family. It represented the idea that when everyone does their job and leans on each other, anything is possible. Without the defense, we wasn't going to be able to do anything, Shedeur acknowledged. And without us as an offense being able to drive down the field, they did everything they could do. That mutual respect, that recognition of interdependence, that's the foundation of championship culture. Even if the wins didn't pile up this season, the Browns built something real in that locker room. But perhaps the most revealing moment of the entire press conference came when Shedeur discussed his relationship with head coach Kevin Stefanski. The coach whose job security has been a topic of endless speculation, the coach who's faced criticism all season despite working with a rookie quarterback and limited weapons. Shedeur revealed that they had a conversation this week, just about things, you know what I'm saying, just about things in general, man. The vagueness is intentional, but the impact was clear. We grew to understand each other, Shedeur continued. We share different things that we both go through. That human connection, that vulnerability, that willingness to be real with each other beyond the X's and O's, it transformed their relationship. And you could hear it in Shedeur's voice when he said, I know this one means a lot about getting Stefanski this particular win. Whatever happens with Stefanski's future in Cleveland, he left an impact on Shedeur Sanders that goes beyond football. He was one of the voices speaking life when darkness was closing in. He was one of the people who refused to let a rookie quarterback drown in the pressure and expectations. That matters. That lasts. That's the kind of coaching that shapes careers. Then there's Quinton Spain, the veteran offensive lineman who did something that genuinely shocked Shedeur. He came to his house, not for a team meeting, not for a playbook session. He came during what Shedeur described as that dark time just to talk, just to be present. Just to speak life into a rookie who was struggling with things nobody could see on film. In that dark time, he came over my house. He came in my house and just talking like, bro, speaking life into me, and that's what I needed, Shedeur said, his gratitude unmistakable. And I'm truly thankful for him, and his presence definitely is missed. That kind of veteran leadership, that willingness to invest in a teammate's mental and spiritual well-being, that's rare. That's special. That's the difference between a locker room and a brotherhood. So what did Shedeur Sanders actually learn this rookie season? By his own assessment, the biggest lessons weren't physical. They weren't about reading defenses faster or improving footwork or throwing with better anticipation, though all of that matters. The biggest lessons were mental and emotional. How you going to deal with the feelings, he explained. You could be not playing and feel some type of way, and you could be playing and feel the same way as if you didn't, as how you were when you weren't playing. That's a profound observation. The idea that external circumstances, winning or losing, playing or sitting, don't have to dictate your internal reality. The idea that you can create your own reality, maintain your own peace, protect your own mental space regardless of what's happening around you. That's wisdom that usually takes years to develop. Shedeur is learning it in his first season, and it's going to serve him for the rest of his career. He also learned what he likes and what he doesn't like, what he sees well and what he doesn't see well, the self-awareness that comes from honest film study and brutal self-evaluation. But more importantly, he learned who he needs around him. You got to have that nucleus of people around to be able, and it's not just your family like it got to be outside, he emphasized. The teammates who tell you the truth, the veterans who show up at your house, the coaches who see you as a person, not just a player. That nucleus becomes your shield against the attacks, the pressure, the darkness that tries to consume you. And make no mistake, Shedeur is convinced he won the mental battle this season. I feel like I achieved that and I won that, he declared with the confidence of someone who knows they've been through fire and came out stronger. The scoreboard might not reflect a winning season. The playoff picture might not include the Browns, but Shedeur Sanders won something more valuable than games. He won the battle for his mind. He won the war for his spirit. He proved to himself that he can face adversity, fall down, get back up, and finish strong. As the press conference wound down and Shedeur prepared to leave, he dropped one final line that encapsulates everything about his priorities and his perspective. Now I got to go see my brother Shiloh. After all the questions about plays and schemes and future speculation, his mind immediately went to family, to the people who matter most, to the bonds that existed long before football and will exist long after. The Sanders family story continues to unfold in real time, and Shedeur's rookie season is just one chapter. But it's a chapter defined by vulnerability, brotherhood, spiritual warfare, mental toughness, and the kind of growth that can't be measured in stats. It's a chapter about learning that the battles off the field are often harder than anything that happens between the lines. And it's a chapter about the power of having the right people speak life into you when darkness is trying to take hold. Will Shedeur Sanders be the Browns' starter in 2026? That question remains unanswered. The front office decisions, the draft considerations, the coaching changes that might be coming, all of that is still to be determined. But one thing is absolutely certain. Shedeur Sanders is walking into that offseason as a different person than he was when the season started. Stronger, wiser, more self-aware, more connected to what really matters. He faced his demons and won. He had a bad half and came back. He failed in a crucial moment and got a second chance to redeem himself. He learned to lean on his brothers when the weight became too heavy to carry alone. And he learned that victory isn't always about the scoreboard. Sometimes victory is simply refusing to let the darkness win. Sometimes victory is getting back to being yourself when forces are trying to make you someone you're not. That field goal against the Bengals will be remembered as a signature moment. But the real signature of Shedeur Sanders' rookie season isn't a play. It's a mindset. It's a refusal to be defined by circumstances. It's a commitment to growth over comfort. It's a willingness to be vulnerable and honest about struggles that most athletes hide. And it's an understanding that the people around you can be the difference between drowning and thriving. The 2025 season is over. The next chapter is about to begin. And if Shedeur Sanders learned what he says he learned, if he really did win the mental and spiritual battles that define this year, then whoever gets him as their quarterback in the future is getting more than just an arm and athletic ability. They're getting a leader who knows how to face darkness and choose light. They're getting a competitor who understands that the biggest battles aren't against defenses. And they're getting a young man who knows that brotherhood, vulnerability, and mental toughness matter more than any stat line ever could. That's the truth Shedeur Sanders revealed after his shocking Browns win. And that truth matters more than any touchdown pass or completion percentage, because football careers are temporary. But the lessons learned in fire, the bonds forged in struggle, and the character built through adversity, those last forever. Shedeur Sanders just finished his rookie season. But in the ways that truly matter, his education is just beginning.